There is a fear older than electricity, older than science, older even than medicine itself. The fear of being buried, alive. For centuries, premature burial wasn't just the stuff of nightmares, it was a medical reality. This is the story of how humanity learned to distinguish the dead from the nearly dead. In the 18th and 19th centuries, before the invention of modern life support monitors, death was not always easy to diagnose. Doctors often relied on signs we now know can be misleading: no breath, no pulse, no movement. But in rare cases, conditions like catalepsy, epileptic seizures, or hypothermia could mimic death so closely, patients were mistaken for corpses. And when they were buried, they sometimes woke up, trapped. The evidence began to pile up. In 1891 in Pikeville, Kentucky, a young woman named Octavia Hatcher was declared dead after a sudden coma. Her body was buried quickly due to the heat. But days later, when others in town showed similar symptoms and recovered, suspicion grew. Her husband ordered an exhumation. Inside the coffin, Octavia's body was found turned over and the interior scratched. As fear spread, so did innovation. Engineers in Europe and the US designed so-called safety coffins, devices meant to prevent the living from being buried with the dead. Some had bells tied to the person's hand. Others included breathing pipes, flags, even ladders. One German priest, Johann Tauberger, created a coffin that would ring a bell above ground if the person inside moved. Public interest was so intense that some were even buried temporarily as a test. But it was only with the rise of modern medical science in the 20th century that the fear of premature burial began to disappear. Today, doctors use strict criteria to declare death: cardiopulmonary death, no heartbeat or breathing; neurological death, complete and irreversible loss of brain function; medical confirmation, 2 or more physicians often required; technologies like electroencephalograms, EEGs, and electrocardiograms, ECGs, confirm death with near total accuracy. The fear, it seems, has been conquered by data. And yet, mistakes still happen. In 2014 in Mississippi, Walter Williams was declared dead and placed in a body bag, only to start kicking hours later at the funeral home. In 2020, a woman in Detroit was pronounced dead and sent to a morgue before she started breathing again. These are rare events, but they remind us. Medicine, like all science, is fallible, and death does not always announce itself clearly. In the past, the boundary between life and death was a foggy line, and crossing it too soon had terrifying consequences. Premature burial is no longer a common fate, thanks to science. But the stories, the bells, and the scratched coffins remind us how far we've come, and how thin the line between fear and fact can truly be. Subscribe for more strange and true stories from the edge of science and history. Leave a comment. What's your greatest fear about death, and how does science help you face it?